Regulars, visitors, guest speakers, everybody, welcome. We're glad you're here today. Let's start off, as we always do, with an invocation, and we'll ask past District Governor Mark Kelsch to lead that for us.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we stand before you with grateful hearts. We ask your blessings for our service, fellowship, and health. We pray for fellow Lions and family who are struggling with personal challenges. Please bless us as we embark on our busy summer schedule in order to provide better service to the community. In your name, amen.
Amen. And our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Secretary Lion Leroy Parcell.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we're graced by the golden throat of Lion John Claypool to lead us in our singing.
Tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where thy fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
I knew you could do it. You sound great. Okay. Back to your seats. And Lion tamers at the back table. Do we have guests in the house? I know we have one or two.
President Cheryl, Lions and guests, yes. We're pleased to have, I don't know that he really comes as a guest, but Past District Governor Steve Stottinger is here today.
Hey, Lion Steve.
And Greg Firth also has a guest. Greg?
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, my guest today is Past District Governor Steve Stottinger, Battleground.
Okay, we just got introduced. Double intro there. Okay,
Yeah,
welcome Steve. Okay.
And also proud to announce she just arrived. And the guest of the Pattersons is daughter Stephanie.
Hey Stephanie, welcome. We're glad you're with us today.
And Hal Palmer has a guest as well.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, once again, my wonderful grandson, Getnet Gotcha.
Hey, getting it? Welcome. Always great when you're with us. Okay. Anybody else? Is that it? So, it's always great when we have guests in the house. Okay, let's see. Let's start out with some happy bucks. Or ambivalent bucks, or questionable bucks, knowing this group. So whatever you got today, if you want to share,
Okay.
let's hear it.
First of all, we're going to celebrate 2 birthdays. Hal Palmer, and he's so old he didn't know where he is. And Sharon Nolan, who's going to be sweet 16 and never been missed.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Sharon. Happy birthday to you.
I am so glad that's over. Madam President, fellow Lions and guests, I'm putting money in because I have a giant brag. I was at an Eagles conference last week and I was named Washington State Chairman for the Spinal Cord Fund, which you all know I had spinal cord surgery last year, so it's near and dear to my heart. But I'm the state representative now.
Yay! Look at that, our guest speaker's leaving already. He's got us figured out.
Did I scare you away, sir? And, more to follow.
Okay.
And Annie. Annie, sorry.
President Cheryl Lyons, yes, I have a happy buck. Yesterday, Mike, I'm gonna preempt you just a tiny bit. We took a trip up to the Lions Eyeglass Recycle Center work up in Olympia, and it was, I was gonna say eye-opening, but it was really happening.
That would be you and who, Ann? Who went with you?
Oh, Mike and I went up. So did a couple hours up there, Parker, and had a really good day.
Cool. Couple hours of service too. Wonderful.
Mary Patterson's daughter is a stinker. Yeah, she tricked me. Mr. Pat Palmer.
President Cheryl, fellow lines and guests, it's a thrill to be back today. So, 6 weeks following the injury, the doctors actually confirmed that my meniscus and ACL are torn. It only took them 6 weeks. I told them 6 weeks ago. Long story short, there's only 6 more weeks until the surgical consult. If you should have a burst appendix, I want you to understand, you have to wait 6 weeks so somebody can confirm it before they'll do anything. Long story short. Second informational dollar, it's always wonderful to see Stephanie of the Patterson clan. She's just such an all. So glad, Steve, that you were finally able to coerce a family member to come so you could get rid of the little statue. Awesome. Now when I ever get given this statue, we'll have it until the day we die. That's nobody. If we just say, hey, would you like to come to a Lions meeting? They're like, wow. Anyway, looking forward to, had a great Father's Day celebration. All 3 of my kids in the same house in Little Rock, Maytown, when we had our big family get together up there. And it was just great to see all 3 of them. That's all.
Apparently I get to talk from now on because she's choking to death.
All right. I think it's its own. I don't know if you're trying to find the website or not. Oh, good. Yeah. Tracy's going to record it.
Did anybody notice part of Russ is gone? Look at this face. He's half gone.
I don't know. I'm lost. Marilyn looks like she's got some. Yeah. All right. Who are you again? Mark Kelch.
Thank you. President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, there's my 5 happy bucks. It's actually 3 reminiscing dollars and a quote that I'll get to in a minute. I'm not much on social media, but one thing I do like is the memories that will pop up and remind you of events that have occurred, even though sometimes they're sad. 15 years ago last week, I was part of the presentation for the memorial for Tom Grenfell. I don't know, many of you know Tom, but wonderful lion. When I was a governor, he gave me a no BS pin. He rarely handed that out, but it was one of my prized possessions because he actually thought I was a lion speaker that he enjoyed, so I appreciated that. Shortly after that, I met his wife. She was really excited to find out that I was Mark Kelch, son of Mary Lou Kelch, because my mother had been a bridesmaid in their wedding in 1953, so it was a small connection. Second reminiscence, 9 years ago, last week, Tom Hutchinson passed away. He was a really good friend of mine. We played soccer in the same men's team, skied together, roommates for many years in Reno and Tahoe when we used to do the Risky Skier Tour. Sad to see him pass away. The third one will be a little more difficult. John's cousin, Pat Brett, passed away 2 years ago last week. As part of our poker group, part of our swim men's group, just a great guy. Pat and I walked around Lake Sacagawea 5 days a week for 11 and a half years. You get to know somebody when you spend that time. So, and where our picture was, that's right, I forgot about that.
ran that stupid thing on the top of a comics page for about 10 years, too. We never got any royalties for it, though, so I don't know. Quote of the week is kind of related. It's an unknown attribution. Be the things you love most about the people who are gone.
I'm coming there. Thank you. I know it's Mr. Reineke, I just forgot your first name. You can sit down, I'll let you.
President Cheryl, fellow lions and guests, I got $3. $1 is happy to be here. $2 happy I wasn't. And for the last 2 weeks. And $1 I'm unhappy because there's a crew working under my house right now. So far it's cost me $4,800 and growing. It's called plumbing. But that's done. But the important $10 is reminiscing dollars, just for a few minutes. Some 73 years ago, I joined the Army. I'll never forget it, June 17, 1953, and for you people under 50, there was a year 1953. Oh God. I'd been in the Navy Reserve for 6 months, but I didn't want to be a sailor after I went to sea once. So I had to sleep with people like Woody. I joined the Army June 17, 1953, and there was a war going on in Korea called the Secret War, and I fully expected to be going there. Well, they had been arguing about the size of the table and everything for 2 years to have a truce. Well, I joined the 17th, and about the 25th, they heard I was in, and they quit. I think I should be marked by historians. But anyway, it was a wonderful time. I had a beautiful military career and loved it. Thank you.
Mr. John Triffield.
They use the term loosely, Hal. President Cheryl, fellow lions and guests, guest speaker, judge, good to see you. I have a happy dollar. Didn't have much planned for Father's Day. Got home from Mass. First son calls, what are you doing? Nothing, watching a little golf on TV. That will be over. Here comes him and his 2 kids. No dogs, he didn't bring his dogs, thank God. A second later, get another call, and my youngest son with the twins and another grandson came. So I've got 5 of my grandsons. All his son was working graveyard tonight. Of course, I didn't think I'd see him. But JT called at 4 and brought my 6th grandson, Julian, and I had a hell of a Father's Day, not expecting one thing. It was great.
State Governor Marilyn Patterson.
I gotta count first. $3. I had 4 things to say. Maybe. President Cheryl, fellow lions and guests. First of all, I'm really happy to see Stephanie here. And this is our daughter, of course. And she fixed Dad and Mom brunch on Sunday, so that was pretty special. Okay, so that's one. The other one, yesterday, our graduating grandson of 18 contacted us. He was on a road trip with his high school buddy. They're camping along the way, I-5. Hey, we're almost to your house. Can we come by and fish out on the river? And so it was great. We had him back in a few minutes with our grown-up grandson. You know, they were doing a van camping trip. It was pretty cute. So it was good to see them. I think the other thing I wanted to mention was that last Saturday, I said, you know, I have got to have a new mattress. So we went to the mattress store and purchased an extra long queen mattress. We have a split king. And wow, it was a lot of money. I just want to say that
I think I'll be celebrating my birthday for the next 10 years. Because it costs at least that much.
I'll be really honest, that was my question too.
I hate to say this, but I'm a restless sleeper, and I have a cat that wants to come and sleep at the foot of the bed too. So that's the
My
reason.
husband are the shortest people in our club, and they get so
Congratulations, Marilyn.
Huh?
I just assumed you were.
No, he's really short.
Okay, what's your
He's
name?
what we call stand-up Steve.
Mike Boland? Okay, Lion Mike Boland.
Thank you, King Lion. I have 2 happy bucks today. One is that I'm here.
Yay!
Anita tells me the type of stroke that I suffered is sometimes fatal, and I'm glad it's not in this case. Hi, TDS.
We're glad to have you, Mike, and Anita.
That's my good friend Greg's Firth. I started calling TDS when there was a...
I'm taking your money, sweetie.
Said every woman he ever met.
Darn straight, Skippy. Oh, CDS, is that what he called you? TDS. What does that mean?
You don't want to know?
The dumb shit?
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, this is an information dollar for Jim Reineke. Jim, I'm glad that you really enjoyed the Army. I was going to join the Army, but I had a problem. My aptitude scores are too high.
It was the Navy.
Yeah, right.
It was the Navy. Stephen from Battleground Lions.
Us district governor.
My happy buck is that I was invited up here to look at some lion pins, a great hobby of mine.
No more than a hobby, Steve. Yeah.
Hi, Steve Johnston.
Hi, President Cheryl, or, yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
whoever you are.
That works.
I got confused here. I got a couple bucks. I had a really great Father's Day. We went down to Kalama and that new building thing they got there, and they've got that Mexican food truck out there. Oh, you've got to go out there and see that, or eat there. It's awesome. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right.
The next commissioner.
Money, 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 money. Mike Carter? Did the mothballs fall out of your pocket?
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. I have a sad dollar. Ron Stomper was supposed to come with me. I was going to go pick him up today. He called me this morning, said he had a cold, and after listening to him, I thoroughly believe it. I have a happy buck. I had a very enjoyable day yesterday when Ann and I went up to Lurk, but she told me something that is still hard for me to process. When she becomes third vice president next month, she'll sit up there right where Rick is right now. She told me the one thing she'll miss about sitting up there is she'll miss sitting next to Steve Patterson. That's hard for me to believe.
That is bad news.
Katie.
Great introduction.
Lion Katie.
Goodness. I don't need one. President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, I've got a few dollars here. Tanner's brother got married this weekend, and I'm so glad that that is over because I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Jim Reineke has a do-over. Oh, he said an addendum.
Cleveland Cheryl, fellow Liners and guests, all over again. I'm adding a couple more dollars here because I left out a crucial part of the story. When I went into the Army in 1953, who was born that year? You. I was already been in the Navy. But I went in the Army, and my mother and father drove me to the post office in downtown beautiful Beaumont, Texas. And my mother had a tear in her eye, and my father was grinning ear to ear. They put me in a brand new Chevrolet with a sergeant driving and two other fellows. And they drove us to Houston, Texas. And they put us up at a place called the Earl Hotel. There was not one star to be found on the Earl Hotel. Couldn't hardly sleep at night. I don't know which bothered you the most, the roaches or the young ladies who were hostesses running in and out from the liquor store across the street. And the next morning we got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and got on an aircraft that I swore could not fly, and took me to El Paso, Texas, and I saw a part of Texas I didn't know existed. No swamps, no rain, no nothing, just sand.
They were called hostesses back then?
Hostesses, yeah.
Okay. All right. Hostesses.
Yeah.
Mr. Woodruff.
Yes. President.
House Dome Chair Terry Woodruff.
Yes. President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, got a couple of happy dollars once again for Happy Day, or Happy Father's Day. My daughter came over from Idaho with her family. My granddaughter with her is 8 or 7, somewhere in there. And anyway, they grow up so fast. Anyway, she was sick the whole time she was over here, so that's always great to have a grandchild like that. They found out she had strep throat. So I'm probably over here contaminating you.
Yeah, before you go to Disney, breathe on it, breathe on it.
And then your kid is old enough to go to Disneyland? Jeez.
Oh, yeah, she'll enjoy it.
And anyway, on Sunday, my son from up in Longview, or Olympia, came down with his 2 grandchildren, and they were both well, except the one that's a 9-year-old granddaughter seemed like she was already a teenager. So at any rate, it was fun. Thank you very much.
House Council Chair Hal Palmer.
Hey, thank you, beautiful tail twister. Oh, President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. A happy dollar because there was an old TV show back in the 60s. Remember what it was called? What was it called? Sunset Strip. What was it? 77 years old on Friday. Can you believe it? We already sang happy birthday. So that's what that's for, Good Father's Day. But the last $3 here, for 3 solid years, I rode with Jim Reineke to meetings back and forth. And guess how many Army stories I've heard? Oh, well, yes, all of them. There was this time, and then there was this time. Jim, I am so glad you're here.
I hope Jim was driving.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to forego for $1? Nope. We're done.
The one that was started up in Cowlitz County by Judge Warning. Drug court wasn't and still isn't mandated by the state, so the expenses come out of local tax dollars. And Judge Warning wanted to make sure every new commissioner knew all there was to know about drug court. Well, I found out that day that drug court changes lives, it saves lives. I found out that drug court reduces the cost to society from recidivism and criminal activity that addicts commit when they come out of the normal jail system. And I found out that drug court reduces immediately local tax dollars because it's much cheaper to have somebody come to court once a week than keep them in jail for 24/7. I also learned that Judge Warning was passionate
about drug court. Through recessions, budget cuts, he passionately advocated for drug court. I watched him throw candy bars to these scrappy individuals from the bench because they met their goals for the week. I watched him tell a young mother, find somebody in this courtroom and take that baby out of your arms because you're going right to jail. So there's a carrot and a stick there. 25 plus years later, Judge Warning is still passionate about drug court. Today he's going to talk to us about one of the projects he's currently working on, Drug Court Foundation. So Lions, please help me give a nice warm welcome to Judge Steve Warning.
Oh, you want the box back?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Usually nobody has any problem hearing me. Should I use this thing? Or? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we're old and can't hear.
Well, George took all my best lines. The other thing I recall when he was commissioner is we were at loggerheads with each other constantly.
Yes, I believe it.
He was my favorite commissioner later, but yeah, there were times when it was difficult.
Much later.
So I am retired now, happily for the last 4 years almost. I still am involved in court. I work as a commissioner part-time. Every once in a while I get lucky and I get to handle the drug court docket. I want to talk to you. I see a lot of familiar faces. I think I've told you about drug court before. I'll give you a little bit of background, but I want to tell you about some good things that are happening and some concerning things that are happening with the program. One of the good things is Cowlitz County's drug court turns 25 this year. I think it's wonderful too. When we started the program, it was pretty new. There were maybe 200 in the whole country. We were the third drug court in the state behind King County and Pierce County. There was a lot to be learned. I thought I knew a lot about drug addiction. I learned I didn't know much about drug addiction. And the program today looks a lot different just because we keep studying what works and what doesn't. At its core, drug court is just what George said, a carrot and a stick. It is court-supervised treatment and monitoring. There was a study recently I was just reading. We're up to about 4,000 drug courts now in the country. There are 4 of them in Cowlitz County. We have the adult drug court. That's for people who are charged with a felony offense. They go into that program. We have a juvenile drug court for kids going through the juvenile system because of drug issues. We have what we call safe court. That's that juvenile court. We have another court for adults who are in danger of losing their children in a dependency proceeding because of drugs. And we also have a mental health court where the primary issue, a lot of times these are very co-occurring, most of the time, but where the primary issue is mental health issues. We have a program modeled after drug court that we have those folks in. As I said, there's about 4,000 of them in the country. The National Criminal Justice Institute just did a study, and there's hundreds of studies on drug courts. This is the most recent great big one that they've done. They figure that for every dollar spent locally on a drug court program, locally you save about $4. Reduces recidivism somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 40%, depending on which study you're looking at. And it does definitely save lives, especially now. I'm sure all of you have read what a nightmare fentanyl has become. And the last time, in fact, I did drug court, we had a kid in there who was just starting, and he was kind of nervous about it because he died twice the week before from fentanyl overdoses. And fortunately, there were people who were able to bring him back around. I was just talking to one of our program monitors, and he's now about 8 months clean and actually doing quite well. So the program continues to be very successful. That same professor that George mentioned still regularly studies the Cowlitz County program to make sure we're doing what we should be doing and that we're not one of the outliers. I'm happy to say that every time he's brought a report to us, our program has been in the tops. We're doing better in terms of graduates, better in terms of recidivism, so we're very, very pleased with that. So now, as I said, a couple of good things. One, 25 years in, which I think is just wonderful. The community's been very supportive. Law enforcement is tremendously supportive of the program. And we're doing something that we probably should have done by rights quite a while ago. Most of the people who come into drug court that first day in, they've got nothing or less than nothing. And in addition to all the problems of addiction, there are also just plain old financial problems. They've got to get themselves to different places in town for treatment. They don't have any money for gas. They're getting sober enough to go out and start looking for work. They need a set of boots. They need some help with first and last month when they can finally get a place to stay. So there are a lot of financial barriers to sobriety, and those don't get covered with county tax dollars. So we have now started the Cowlitz County Drug Court Foundation. I got some flyers up here if anybody would like one. And the goal of the foundation is simply to acquire, get donations, so that when somebody's in that position, they need, oh, you bet. When somebody comes into the drug court office and they need, $20 for gas or $75 to buy a pair of boots or whatever it may be, that we've got the ability to get them those things that they need so they can keep progressing and stay sober. We started this very recently. It's been in operation, I guess, about 3 months. We are a 501c3, so everything that gets donated is tax deductible. We've used this model from a number of other drug courts that have started a foundation, and it's a big help. So we are very excited to see this going now. We hope it's going to do a lot to improve the lives of the people who are in the program. George is passing out our flyers. We haven't got a website up yet. That's in the works. Those flyers conveniently have a QR code on the back. You can, if you're computer literate, you can scan that and make a donation right there. If you're more like me and not particularly computer literate, let me know and I'll make sure and get you in touch with the right person. But we would certainly appreciate it if anybody would consider helping the foundation get up and running. So those are the good things. And now after 25 years, I'm somewhat surprised that I'm even having to have this conversation. There's also some concerns on the horizon. We have 3 Cowlitz County Commissioners, 2 of whom are going to get replaced in the coming election. The current incumbents aren't going to serve again. One of our 3 Cowlitz County Commissioners thinks a drug court's a dumb idea. We need to 86 it. I've heard the reasons stated, and I'm still not quite sure, but one of them was, well, we all know that people can just quit using if they really want to. So we've got another commissioner who has given tepid support for drug court, I guess. But the big concern is that the Cowlitz County Drug Court, along with the Sheriff's Behavioral Health Unit, that's the people they send out instead of police when somebody's having a mental crisis, that has been working very, very well. It's a lot better to see a trained mental health specialist come out when you're in that situation instead of somebody with a gun. So that seems to de-escalate a lot of problems quickly, and the sheriff's very pleased with the program. It also pays for mental health services in the jail that are mandatory. And this is it's called mental health tax. It was first created by the legislature, I think it was 2011. And it's a local option tax, so it's established at the county level. And it was specifically to help pay for things like drug court and these other mental health services. We've had that tax here since it was first allowed. It's 1/10 of 1%. So if you go out and buy a new TV for $800, it costs you 80 cents. But it generates a fair amount of money countywide, and it pays for all those services. As I say, we've had that tax in place since 2011, 2012, whenever it was first permitted. And the commissioners allowed it to sunset at the end of this year. I've got no idea, and we've been trying to find out where they're going to have money to run those programs next year. I can't find it any place in the budget. They were what, 40,000 out of reserves for last year's budget, was it? Or 400,000? Okay, so last year the county had to go into reserves, into savings, to pay for the county budget. So I'm not quite sure if this mental health tax does go away, how they're going to pay for these programs. They have decided to put an advisory vote on the November ballot. My concern is, I think, like most of us, I don't want to pay any more taxes than I have to. And so when you read the title, should the county have this mental health tax, I think a lot of people are going to see tax and check no. It is strictly an advisory vote. It's up to the commissioners whether or not they enact the tax for next year or not. But I'm hoping that people will take a look at that, tell friends, family, this is a tax that serves a very good purpose and ultimately saves us all a bunch of money. So we've got that mental health tax on the advisory vote. We've got 2 new commissioners getting elected in November. I hope everybody will look closely at their positions on the mental health tax and drug court, as well as all the other issues that come up. And so there's my political pitch. My favorite part, anybody have any questions you want to ask?
About how many folks are you serving per year?
So like everything else, COVID had a big impact. Pre-COVID, we were at about 120. And right now, I think there's 108. That's in the main adult drug court program. There are usually about a dozen to 20 kids in the juvenile drug court. I want to say there's about, I think it's about 15 in the dependency drug court, people trying to get their kids back. And mental health court, last I looked, was about a dozen.
So the follow-up question is, and full-time incarceration costs about $30,000 per inmate per year. So just with 120 people going through, we're saving about $400,000 roughly.
You could estimate about $100 a day. So 120 adults, that's $12,000 a day. Yeah. In jail.
And the other thing to keep in mind is the Cowlitz County Jail, when it was designed and built, we were having fewer people in jail with mental health problems and the really severe mental health problems. So right now, the actual capacity of the jail is a little over 300. The effective capacity now is about 250, maybe 260, because there are an awful lot of people who are in there who are so mentally ill, they have to house them individually. Even though maybe there's 6 bunks in the cell, they can't put anybody else in there with them to protect all the other prisoners. So this way, it helps with the jail's capacity as well. Yes, sir.
So before the tax 11 years ago, how was the program funded?
When we first started out, it was funded with federal dollars. There were federal grants to get the programs going, and that kept us going for the first about 5 years. And then after that, it was funded from the general fund.
And so, just to help us understand the math here, doesn't drug court cost about $400,000 a year, about the same amount of money that it's saving per person?
In the cost of running the actual program, yeah, I think that's probably pretty close. Then you add to that the savings from the reduction in crime that they figure on a local basis, and that's in that latest study that I was talking about. That's where they come up with for $1 tax money spent locally, $4 saved locally. Yeah, other questions? Retirement, woodworking. Yeah, there we go. Candidate debates. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
My question for you is,
Where are you going to, like, let people know about this? How are you getting this information out? Because, like, I understand, like, you know, this is a great place to go, right? I feel like all the people here would love to support this and make sure they can help their community. But how are you getting it to people that don't know about it? And what's your plan?
So, you know, there's the voters pamphlet, and I think we're getting kind of an ad hoc group together to write the statement in favor of the mental health tax for that. This, coming to these kind of groups, this is called the rubber chicken circuit by most judges. And I hope to spend a bunch of time on the rubber chicken circuit between now and November. Another project that I'm involved in along with George Rader is the Cowlitz Civil Dialogue Project. We put on the Longview City Council debates last year, as some people in here recall, and we are going to do debates this year to include the county commissioner positions, the 19th district congressional position, and the 3rd district Senate position. So certainly I'm going to make sure it comes up then, one way or the other. So hopefully we get a lot of people paying attention to that too. You know, all know how difficult it is to get anything done with the daily news now, unfortunately. So that, you know, we'll do what we can there.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
This is a real interesting factoid that people should know. First, I have been trying to get to the bottom of the mental health tax for about at least 2 weeks, maybe longer, because philosophically I'm against sales taxes, because they hurt the poor the most. They hurt the poor the most. And it's as a percentage of their income when they pay $60 on, an extra $60 on a TV, it's like they don't eat that week or month. I've gotten one answer that says $200,000 a year. Another answer that says $1.6 million a year that from the mental health tax. I've got a plan to meet with Jenna James about that, trying to figure out why there are more than one message out there. The third thing, I've talked with a commissioner who may remain. He says, we'll always support drug court, so you know you and I will hold him to that.
Good.
So if you know the real number, let me know.
Well, I don't know the real number because I ran into kind of the same thing Hal has, but there are 3 programs I know are funded by it. One is the drug court, obviously, and that's to the tune of 400 plus. Then the sheriff's behavioral health unit. I think that's over 200,000 that goes into that. And then, as I said, it funds the mental health services in the jail. I talked to Marin Fox, who is the head of the jail, and she says that's a little over $1 million in services a year. So from those, it's at least 1.6 that it generates.
I mean, that number I'm coming down to is what it raises for the county. When I got that 200,000 number, I was blown away.
About how many graduates in the last 13 years?
25 years?
Yeah, I can't tell you that. We just had the 25th anniversary graduation over at the Rose Center less than a month ago. We had 10 graduates for that. If you want to have a good teary time, come to a drug court graduation, because you get a lot of people up there, even though they're not real public speakers, will tell you their story. And most of them have been down a lot farther than you'd like to think any human being ever has been. And they've now got jobs, they're paying taxes. There's a local tarp shop over here, right across from Roland Wines. A guy named Logan Horning, and he doesn't mind at all getting told about, told tales on. I had Logan in drug court many years ago. About the 3rd time I put him in jail, he announced, "That's it, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore." For some reason, I didn't let him out of the program. He is now an absolute beacon of light in the clean and sober community around here. He works with DOC to help place people back in the community coming out of the institution if they've got drug or alcohol issues. He does more good for more people than you can imagine. And we got stories like that over and over and over again.
I'm not sure what the revenue side is because I'm not sure when the tax expires after they didn't renew it, but the budget for 2024 for court and inmate services, including therapeutic courts, etc., comes to $2.9 million.
That's the total budget.
I just wonder if maybe those 6 Southeast today's clients are former drug court graduates that run successful small business.
Great. John?
On a lighter note, do you and your wife still Docs for the Blind for the Oregon group?
No, the local group disbanded. So we have to go down to Vancouver for it now. Our last we raised guide dog for the blind puppies for years. Our last puppy, they flunked out at 5 months. We were offended, because normally we raise them till they're about 16, 18 months old. We were deeply offended that they would dump him out after just 5 months. They were absolutely right. That dog has no work ethic whatsoever, but he's a great pet. Yeah. Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for being here, Judge. Just a minute, a short pause. Okay then, thank you for being with us, Judge Warney. And here we have for you, for speaking to us today, a lovely parting gift, our Longview Pioneer Lions mug, should you imbibe or not. There you go, and we'll also give you an application. Now that you're retired, if you'd like to join this happy band, we would be more than happy to have you. Thank you for coming to speak to us. Okay, let me blitz through our announcements. I'm just going to hit the most important ones for this week. June 22nd, what's today? Is this the 18th? Okay, June 22nd, 4 days. Saturday, Hot Rods for Heaven at the Cowlitz County Events Center. Volunteers for kettle corn needed. Please sign up. Oh, it's already full? Okay, all right. Well then come and support the event and support your local Lions, okay? Dr. Road cleanup projects coming on also on the 27th, 9:15 a.m. That's right after the board meeting, which is that same morning at 8 o'clock. So board, don't forget that. Don't forget that.
We lost her.
Here I am. Okay, the board talked. We decided there will not be a meeting here on 2nd of July. You know why? Because why?
We'll be at the lake.
We'll be at the lake at Goforth. Hopefully most all of us. Okay. So speaking of Goforth, the sign-up sheets are available and the online sign-up is up and running. What we got is lots and lots of empty slots. Wow. So we need volunteers now. So I'll be filling in mine today. How about you? Okay.
President Cheryl Lyons, I guess we have a small wetlands cleanup on Thursday at 10 o'clock. Should take maybe an hour or less. Same place on Memorial Park Drive, just a little area that we didn't get to before. I'll have a truck, so no walking, and I almost can promise this will be really easy.
You too can dig out a fun surprise. Yeah. Okay. Now, can you believe that June is more than half done? No. Because time's getting short for the rest of my presidency. Yay. I'm going to see if we can get this box empty in the next 2 weeks. Depends on how many people that are still on my list are here today and next Tuesday. And the reason it's still heavy and got a lot of stuff in it is because of days like today. We have a few, but not very many, that are here, that are still in the box. So I think it's very possible that I'm going to run out of year before I run out of surprises. So in that event, I think I'll just keep on going. As our past president, I'll just put myself on the announcement agenda once in a while. And from time to time, until this box or whatever receptacle I decide to drag around with me after it wears out is emptied. So today, I have a few folks to recognize. So here we go. For some great lions who join this club. There's Jim Reinecke. You never know if you're going to get a tall tale or just a whale of a good story. Yeah. So in either case, Jim, these whoppers are for you. Good job. Now, who could this caramello be for except Shirley White? So easy to talk to and work with, smooth and sweet and full of flavor, and stick to it, just like the finest caramel. We love you, Shirley. Okay, thank you, Shirley. Robin Schercher. Come on, Robin. I bet you've never seen one of these before. I got it for you because it says on it, where Northwest living begins. And for a lot of people, it begins with you. You haven't seen that one? Okay. Karen Johnson, your hubby Rick says that you like bunco and quilting. We know you're talented and efficient. You're a great multitasker, so we'd like you to be able to do both of them at the same time. So to help you do that, here are some bunco dies and a package of quilting needles.
We need to get a bunco group going.
Let's see, who else I got here? Jay Christensen. I don't know Jay well, but looking at his email address gave me a clue as to what he might like doing. So workerofwood1@yahoo.com. This free drink flask, colorfully adorned by Woody Woodpecker, might come in handy while you're in your workshop practicing your craft. Even has a loop to attach it to your tool belt or your workbench. Yeah. And last but not least today, I have a copy of a fitting story for one of our own lions who has been hard to find during the past few years. A copy of H.G. Wells's The Invisible Man, or Roger Karnofsky or Greg Prestegard, whichever one of them shows up first. So if one of you sees either one of those guys, will you please let me know? Yeah.
Hang on to it.
Yeah, I'll be hanging on to it. And that's what I have for you today. Okay, let's do a ticket draw. Our blue ticket, very generous. And the ace of spades. Well, it's a face card, but the wrong one. Sorry. Okay, so the joker lives, and on we go. Okay, Darlene and Jane, do you have baked goods today? Okay. Oh, okay. They'll be going home with desserts. No baking at your house for a few days. Okay. All right. Lion Pat.
President Cheryl, fellow lines of guests, I wasn't able to make this announcement earlier because I couldn't remember the number, but now that I've seen the two ladies, I want to congratulate the sweet ladies. What can we say? The people who have been taking the money for Relay for Life for the last 2 years. I did cut them a check to take to Relay for Life for $2,735.
Whoa. Wonderful. Excellent. Good job, Lions. You amaze me every week.
President Cheryl, yes, we do have a relay team for Relay for Life, but if you'd just like to donate to the relay, you can make a check to me, to the American Cancer Society, and it goes to our team. Right now, we're in second place.
Okay. All right. Does anyone else have anything for the good of the order? Okay, so there's this guy, Dave, who absolutely hates going to the doctor. Luckily for him, his brother Henry is an equine veterinarian. So anytime Dave is sick, he calls Henry, and Henry will say, look, I'm not a doctor, but here's what I would do and the medicines I would take. One day, Dave breaks his leg, and he calls up his brother and tells Henry he has a busted leg. Henry is quiet for a bit, and then he says, Dave, I've got bad news. Lions, I hope you receive nothing but good news this week. So, see you next week, or at the Hot Rod Show on the 22nd.